go. Like a super farm. Well, welcome to Thunder in the Valley, Saturday afternoon. We're getting ready for the night show. Dan Mayer joined by the voice of the Outlaw Pullers, Ron Stone. Ron, what a weekend we've had here so far, and we're really climbing that mountain still.
Yeah, last night was amazing. Thursday night was great. Last night was even better. We had twice as many hooks last night as we had Thursday night. Of course, we're leaning on that 150 mark again tonight. What an awesome show last night. I mean, the track did not disappoint. Rock Valley did not disappoint. It was a great evening of pulling.
Now, one thing that I heard before I was able to come off the announcer's stand last night, heading down the stairs, Dave Nelson had radioed in and says, our average for hooks tonight was 1.9 minutes. And I went, wow. And he says, we are going to do better today. We're going to get down to 1.5. And I says, you got to be kidding me. He says, nope, we are doing it.
You and I had better be on our A game then and get our stuff in that we're going to talk about, because if they're going to go that fast, I tell you what, there's going to be very little chit-chat from you and I, my friend.
Yeah, like I say, it was kind of hard enough just to try to get all the results from the previous class, so we're already starting that next class, and just to keep up. But no, that's great for the fans and keeps everything moving, and it's just great to watch pulling when it's like that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a spectator and you're sitting there and you don't have a chance to run to the restroom or run and get you a corn dog or a steak sandwich, yeah, that's good. When you're constantly entertained, that's what we want to see. And Rock Valley, it's like that every year here. It's always boom, 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 hook, hook, hook.
So, Ron, let's talk about the Saturday afternoon. In years past, they'd run a Saturday afternoon session here. They scratched that for this year, running on Thursday night. Now, what are we, looking into? We're going to give away rocks all evening long, the big prestigious rock here in Rock Valley. But let's talk about that Saturday night show.
Saturday night show, of course, is the pinnacle. We've been working up to that crescendo. Now we're right there. We're almost at the peak, like you said in the opening. And this is going to be the night of all nights here at Rock Valley. The third session, like you said, first time we've ever had 3 nights for 3 sessions. It's always been 2 nights, or 2 nights and then a day session Saturday and then Saturday night. I think the stands are going to be absolutely packed, and I think the fans are going to get exactly what they came here to see and then some here at Rock Valley.
Now, those folks that are watching or are planning on coming out here tonight, weather is absolutely perfect. We've had some, hot conditions earlier in the week, but this is, mid-70s. We're, I think, a high of 79 today. Beautiful breeze out here. You couldn't ask for a picture, better day to watch a pull.
Right. Well, like I tell Jason all the time when we're talking on TV or on the radio, it's like we always say that. What a great day for a pull. What a great weather for a pull. But I know you're a pulling fan, and we'd be out here if it was 32 degrees and snowing, and they had a tractor pull down. So
well, but I'm a bigger guy, so and when you're out in that hot sun, you really feel it. But this is perfect. This is really perfect out here.
It is. It's beautiful weather. We're not even breaking a sweat out here. It's amazing. There's a slight breeze coming out of the north. It's beautiful. It's perfect weather for a tractor pull, as I always say.
And we got the gates are wide open now. We got fans coming right in the gates, and they're swarming here. They're coming in here at a good clip and getting their seats to, get their favorite seat on the track here. We got double track action. Like we say, we've got, I don't know how many classes we're going to be running here tonight, but, we've got all the rocks we're going to be giving away, that big championship rock. And Mike Guide will be down at the end of the track. He'll be giving those away.
He's going to be busy.
Yes, he's going to be busy. It's going to be hard to get all those in, with all those winter interviews as well. But, yeah, we're in for just an outstanding show here tonight. And let's talk about some of the runs we saw last night. We're going to show some of the runs from our winners in last night's classes, starting with the naturally aspirated two-wheel drive class.
Yeah, that was an awesome class. Phelps making up a little ground on Renner there, and those guys battled it out all last season, right down to the last pull. There is Renner right there. He's leading the point.
Yeah, so there we see up on the big screen, we got the run there, the Running Wild team as he took the big win.
Yeah, Phelps is creeping up on him. And it's going to go down to the wire, I think, again this year in that naturally aspirated two-wheel drive class.
So we'll move on into our 3,200-pound class. We saw the like father, like son tractor take the victory last night in that class. Now, one of the newer classes with the Outlaws.
Yeah, 3,200. It's the closest thing you're going to see to an out-of-field tractor here, but very competitive class. But what he did last night, like father, like son, he was a giant killer last night. Kavanaugh doesn't get beat that often, especially here at Rock Valley, and he knocked him off last night, and I'm sure he had to be pretty excited.
So we'll move along here with the light limited pro class was up next, and we saw, this class pretty much dominated by the green ones out there, and we saw the inches matter. We had a whole pile of those light limited tractors out there in competition last night, and I'd imagine we'd have about the same coming out here once again as we saw the inches matter tractor take that big win.
Yeah, I think he had 23 of them last night. Mike Masonbrink, former points champ in that class, a great guy. Glad to see him get a win here.
So then we move on into the mod class last night, and boy, what a class we saw last night, Ron Stone.
You ain't kidding. I mean, this is the winning run right here, Cody Barren and the Turbinator. The turbines dominated last night. The two twin turbines, T55s, went first and second. I think it's still, I love the close finishes, and when Donald Nelson and the Bullbuster was leading, and Case and Petch came out with his twin turbine and beat him by 18 thousandths of a foot, and we figured that out. It was 7/32 of an inch separating first and second. At that time, of course, it was all for naught when Cody Barren came out and whipped them both, but it's pretty cool when it gets that close.
Oh, for sure, and like you say, 13 mods in our class, and looks like going through the pits this afternoon, everybody's good to go, so we should see another great field here tonight.
Of course, the track, just as awesome last night as it was on Thursday. You saw a few choose the wrong gear last night. I bet we won't see too much of that tonight. I think they'll be on their A game.
So moving on into our light superstock ag class, we saw the Crazy Horse pick up the win. Now a class that's been dominated by the Schluters.
Right. Yeah, and I came over to you at one point when you said Crazy Horse won. I said, "Are you sure?" I thought Corey Schluter got him, and you said no. Crazy Horse guy's like, "Well, awesome, awesome
2
job
feet behind
for Kurt Pollson."
So, great run right there as we see the Crazy Horse making it just an exceptional run there. Always good when you get that finish line flagman backing up.
That's the most beautiful sight in the world to a tractor puller, is that 300-foot flagman running backwards.
So moving on into our Pro Stock four-wheel drive class last night, we see the bipolar.
Yeah, he is dominant. I tell you, I'm surprised we don't see him out here right now. He walks out early in the morning and looks at the dirt, rubs it between his fingers. It comes out mid-morning, afternoon, and, he's always out here checking the consistency of the track, and he is dominant. That is the truck to beat in Pro Stock four-wheel drive in this part of the country. So
our lightweight super stock class, Deer Fever, Gary Whip, swept the weekend here, picked up the rock. We were giving some rocks away last night, and this longtime veteran here with this John Deere picked up the big win.
Man, a few words, but a lot of experience. I think like 54 years of pulling experience under his belt. Great pulling team, great family here in the Midwest pulling light super stock.
So moving on into the Pro Stock class, we had, John Deere domination just continued on here. As Kyle Pedley with that wide loose steer, win number 5 in a row here. Now the pressure's really on here tonight for win number 6.
Yeah, I hear Taylor Van Beek's not going to be able to make the call tonight. They found some metal in the oil filter, so he won't be able to make the call. But Pedley here, he is, just like going back to bipolar in that Pro Stock 4x4 class, the man to beat. This is the man to beat here at Rock Valley, Kyle Pedley.
Speaking of four-wheel drive class, next up was the modified four-wheel drive class, and we saw Thumper, had damage the day before and came back out as the number one hook in that class, and boy, did he dodged some big bullets out there.
He sure did, and he was able to borrow the bull gear, the top bull gear in the transfer case from his nephew's truck, and they went back to the pit area after his run and put the bull gear back in the backdraft, and he came out and pulled, but thank goodness for family and friends, or Thumper wouldn't have been able to run last night at all, and he ended up snagging a win.
So then next we had the Superstock diesel class, which was held over from Thursday night. They moved that class into last night, and boy, they put on a show. That chance encounter, as we saw a guy that haven't seen behind the wheel in quite a while, was behind the wheel of the chance encounter last night.
Yeah, Eugene Williams in the seat of the chance encounter tractor, and boy, did he bring the fans to their feet here.
Yeah, just a beautiful run there with that tractor as we move on next into our light limited modified class. As we saw the Runnin' Rowdy, the current points leader in the class, take home that big win. And what a cool setup on this. I've talked about, this light limited mod class and some of the neat, unique setups on there, but when do you see that on a modified? There you got a diesel burning.
Not very often, and yeah, it is unique, and the class itself is unique. There's so much variety. There are more aircraft engines in that class than there are automotive or tractor type engines, or the turbines, the Allisons, of course the turbines, the twin turbines. Beckman had been dominating the last few nights. He won over in Concord, then won Thursday night here, but got beat out by the DT 466 4.1 motor here of Wes Severs and Runnin' Rowdy last night.
So then we move on into Super Farm. We saw Mr. Super Farm, one of the Mr. Super Farms there, Chad Weizenkamp, this someday.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Dan, this is Super Farm country in Rock Valley, Iowa. They love their Super Farms, and the class did not disappoint. Chad Weizenkamp, someday late hook in the class, and he powered out for a win. You can see just got it past that leader mark there. Awesome job for the defending points champ, Chad Weizenkamp.
And then, of course, we finish out last night's program with the Pro Stock Semi-Class. We saw the Steyr Trucking team out of the state of Minnesota take the big win last night. As wow, what a run.
Yeah, awesome to see the front ends come off the ground of those 20,000-pound semis, and the crowd loves it. They love it. Something magical about that. Dan, I have to admit, I love seeing it myself.
Yeah, for sure. We saw a great field, 4 trucks last night, and no doubt they'll all be back here tonight. So at this point in our program, we'll bring in our Rock Valley promoter, Mr. Rich Roseboom, as he's going to come on in here, and we'll get him ready to go here. We'll talk a little bit about this great event.
Test 1, 2, test.
All right, so we got our promoter here from Rock Valley, Rich Roseboom. Rich, my first time here, and what an event. I've been all over the country, different events, but the billing for this event, everything that I've heard about it is true. Let's talk about how this whole event got started.
Yeah, it is quite a transition from when we started the first year. It all started, I guess, in the back of a shop one day when 5 guys were talking and said, hey, we probably should have a tractor pull. I don't think I was part of that deal.
Oh, okay.
Somehow or another,
you got lassoed into it.
I was going to say, yeah, how did you get roped into that whole deal?
That must have been a Saturday afternoon where I was busy or something. But there's been a lot of history. I think we go back into the 80s, with other different organizations in Rock Valley. I remember pulling it behind the elevator. And we rode that track with a sheep's foot for like 4 or 5 days trying to get that track hard. And now today we're working on it right here, right now, So, but there's just, it's been great. We've gone through the different organizations, like I said, and we've just had unbelievable support from the city of Rock Valley, all the volunteers. You see them. They're all out here with red shirts, yellow shirts, whatever. So,
now, when was the first pull here in Rock Valley? What year was that?
So the Outlaw?
Just the first pull at Rock Valley when you guys first decided the pull you were talking about there behind the
basically
elevator.
2004. So
okay.
This is our 22nd year.
Any inkling that it would turn into something like this, one of the biggest pulls in the country?
No, I think the first year was 3 classes and Super Farm pulled twice.
I saw that on social media. Super Farm started and ended, so that's what I told Dan. It's a Super Farm country.
And the purse that night was $13,000, and I think every one of us was not sure how we were going to come up with that. But we had some good people that said, if you don't come out, we'll take care of it, and we came out. So that's where it started. Was 22 years ago in 02. Oh, excuse me, 04.
04, so first year. Now, one thing that we have asked a lot of the competitors throughout the pit area the last few days is what brings you to Rock Valley? And the 2 most common answers we got were you guys, the folks that put this pull on, and this track. Tell us about this track. I mean, how did you guys build one of the best tracks in the nation?
So this is our 3rd chance of building a track, so to speak. We had the one uptown, and then we had one that was a straightaway over behind here. But it took the right type of dirt. The clay was brought in and, again, donated by, basically local farmers, and everything to haul it in was donated, So a lot of that is how it got here. But the track, we've learned a lot. We've got a whole crew out there, But I'm going to give Bob Davalar and a lot of them, Scott Skelling and all of them guys are kind of the head dudes on the track. But Kurt Koima, Dave Rosenbaum, all of them, they're thinking. And the whole thing that brought the track around, I think, is we decided to put some compost on it and then start growing the rye, and that basically has held the track. Last year with the flood, we would have lost the track if we didn't have the rye on it. So just a lot of thought and process has been going into it, and the other thing is how they take care of it, how we pack it in and then take care of it after that.
I know there's a few pullers in the pits that didn't get to pull Thursday night because of the rain that came in, and they were literally licking their lips, chomping at the bit to get at that track. They saw how good it was biting and pulling some of those motors down. So I've been coming here since 2018, and I think the last 2 or 3 years I've seen this track get even better, if that's possible. This year is phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's from the things that I just talked about that we've even done more of. But, yeah, I had the same thing. A couple guys said they would have been pretty disappointed if they wouldn't have been able to pull Thursday night. And they did, and they said it was the best hooking track ever, so.
And one thing I was amazed with is, okay, so Thursday night we had a little bit of rain. You guys covered that track. Did not touch that track until yesterday afternoon when you pulled that tarp off. You scratched it up just a little bit, and it was ready to pull in one of the best tracks that we have ever seen. That just amazing. You don't see that.
Yeah, and that turned out, 2 years ago we did that same thing, and we'll try to keep doing that if we can. Kevin, of course, with the sled has a lot. He runs that grader for us and has a lot of insight for the guys, and they all put their heads together back there.
Yeah, I remember that. That was when we were still just Friday, Saturday, and Thursday night you had to cover the track, and then the next day there was talk, there was conversation about, well, should we start working on it? Should we open it up? And then I think everybody got together and said, let's just leave it alone and see what happens. And it was one of the best tracks you'd ever had here.
Yeah, that was fun. That definitely, I think that has come across to some of the other polls have kind of seen that, and we've all been trying it if we can.
So now moving forward with the event, what do we see down the road here with the poll? Now, this year you guys went with the Thursday night session. You got rid of the Saturday afternoon session. So what do we see down the road here for Rock Valley?
There was a lot of changes made this year, a lot of details. So everything that we did been very positive, and I think we'll stick with it. Of course, we'll have to take a good look here at the end, but been very, how do you say it, today, relaxing, and I guess
I agree.
Almost to the point where I got in trouble. I didn't get a few things done that I was supposed to. But no, for the pullers, hopefully that they appreciated it. I know you guys do, the announcers here. I think it's for the fans. It looks like tonight's going to be a great night. The weather, we were just blessed with Thursday night to get through that as far as we did, and last night. So we're going to have a great weekend, and I think it'll probably end up being the same next year.
Well, Rich, we know you're a very busy guy here, so we're going to let you go back to work here. And great job here this weekend. Once again, thanks for everything that you guys do. And joining us here on FullPull.live, our countdown show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, so one of our promoters here from the event, Rich Roseboom, and All right, so here we go. We're going to bring in our next guest as we've got Tim Blankenspor is going to be coming here and talking with us. And kind of interesting talk to this gentleman here as a kind of the Iowa historian, if you will. And I like that.
He's a red guy, too.
He's a red guy.
He's a red guy.
All right.
Tim, how's it going today, buddy?
Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well. Glad to be in Rock Valley. Glad the sun is shining.
So have you been a part of this event since the very first pull?
I've actually attended the first poll. I've never missed. I became a Valley Pullers board member in 2020. I handle all the social media, and Kurt Pollson was instrumental in that, getting me to come on board. And it was an easy decision because I believe in this poll. I believe in the people behind this poll. And as long as I've been around, as many polls as I've been going to, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, being from the state of Iowa, you've pretty much, when did you start going to polls and really getting involved with them?
Actually, my first Grand National would have been 1991 in Worthington, Minnesota. Mike and Steve Bausma were the promoters of it. And I couldn't have been more than 10, 11 years old, and to be able to see Ernie Connor and Terry Blackburn and Rob Russell was our guy back in the day. Esden Lane, the gold paint scheme. So we went to up to Worthington in 91 and 92, and then I actually hit Hinton, Iowa, and the Spencer Fair in 93. And old George Hendrickson always used to say, the Hinton Midwest Regional Nationals and the Clay County Fair, that's the one everybody wants to win.
So now, at that point, then the Outlaws kind of started to build some momentum right about that mid-90s point?
Around 1998, they had made the switch, and unfortunately at that time, I had no idea who the Outlaws were. I had never heard of them. I was a senior in high school. So I dug out the Puller magazine, and I knew Dennis Goodwin, God rest his soul, had an ad in the back for his insurance company. So I called him and introduced myself to him and told him who I was, and he was very cordial. And I said, who are the Outlaws? What's going on? Why aren't we with NTPA anymore? And he explained everything. That numbers were kind of dwindling, kind of going down, and they picked up the Outlaws. And I think it was either 98 or 99, and they never looked back. And to see what this thing has grown into, I mean, just tonight, just the modified class, or this weekend, just the modified class alone. I said to Dave Nelson, I says, is this real? Is this for real? I says, is this a dream? He said, it's real, and it's going to be fun.
Now, a guy that's, looked in on the Outlaws over the years, never had the opportunity to go to an Outlaw event, but have always paid attention what was going on out here. And you saw, the amount of equipment that was out here and, the quality of equipment out here. And it just, and then eventually, working different events and then going to Louisville and meeting a lot of those folks that run with the Outlaws.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, it's amazing, how this organization has just taken off.
Yep, and I've told people, too, in the past, and that's no disrespect to any other association, I says, we may not be the Outlaws, Thunder in the Valley. We may not be the best, but we don't take a backseat to anybody. I've been to the Wisner, I've been to Bowling Green, been to Toma, been to State Fair, been to a bunch of them, and they're great, fantastic events. And I don't think we take a backseat to any of them.
I agree. And you do such a good job, Tim, of keeping this pull front and center on social media. You don't let it, drift away. You keep it out there. Every week or so I'll see something, throughout the year, and that's key. You got to keep it front and center. And this is a destination event that I think will continue to grow as you guys keep adding seating, you keep adding camping for folks to come in. The pit area keeps getting larger. I think the only direction is up from here, and I think it's just going to keep getting better as long as you guys keep your nose to the grindstone like you're doing, and don't get complacent, and I don't think you will. This is going to be potentially the biggest poll in the country. It could be.
Yeah, I think it could be. Like I said, I believe in this poll. I do, and that's why I came on board. And we're going to keep doing what we can to keep it growing, keep it going, maintain status quo, and go up from there.
Now, Tim, as the crow flies, how far are you from Rock Valley?
I'm about, what would it be, 20 miles that way. And I actually about live in Rock Valley. I work for those D&K repair boys.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard of
I've
Kurt
seen a bunch
Koima.
of them shirts this weekend. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of those
that Kurt
throughout the
Koima
grounds.
and that Dave Rosenbaum guy. I work for them, and then I also farm a little bit on the side with my dad and my brother. So when I want to go tractor pulling on my own with, I got a little 3,000 RPM tractor, they're pretty understandable to let me go do that.
Yeah, it works out with the schedule,
Yeah,
right?
It helps.
It helps to work for pullers,
Yeah,
people
you
that
got it.
have pullers themselves. So Dave Roseboom, a great guy too.
You bet.
So, Tim, over the years, seen some great events here at Rock Valley. Anything that sticks out, some great memories? I mean, going back and...
In 2005, the grandstand behind me came up. In 2006, they doubled the track. And in 2006 was kind of the first, the Temptations were up here. Elmer come up here, and it was like, okay, maybe they know who we are. And it just kind of kept growing from there. And probably one of the biggest ones was 2 years ago when Esden was here. And he rolled that clutch for quite a ways and before he let it out, and he took the win that night. And we were in contact with him, and he made an effort to be here, but just mechanically it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, he has started off the season as last year went. It just
Right.
things not going real good for him here early on, and hopefully gets that sorted out. But is that kind of been one of the bars that you guys set, like so-and-so's been here, so-and-so's been here, we're putting ourselves more and more on the map?
Yeah,
or
to a point, because we don't want to discredit the guys that normally run the Outlaws, because they do a fantastic job, and we're thankful for all the men and women that run the trucks and tractors and the mods and whatnot. But when guys from outside come in, it is a sign like, hey, maybe they do know who we are, and we can have a seat at the table with them.
For sure, and like you say, none of these outlaw guys take a backseat to any of them. I mean, they're right there with them, and yeah, it's just great to see everybody kind of come together, and the rules where you can do that. That's one of the if we someday could get all these rules across the nation to be the same, we'd be in a really good spot, really.
Yeah, and looking back to 2020, I think that was kind of a turning point too. I think a lot of people, that was COVID year. Most of the organizations did not have a lot of pulls for whatever insurance purposes or restrictions in their local areas. We were able, with the Outlaws, to have a lot of events that year. Not as many as we normally do, but Rock Valley was one that we were able to have, and we did pull a lot of pullers from other organizations and from back east and down south and out west. And I think at that time, a lot of people was like, what is this Rock Valley deal? And we were live streaming it, and I think a lot of people got a taste of it, and it's like, hey, that's pretty cool. We had the Holman brothers here that year.
And they came for the flood benefit. They were here last year.
They've been out here a couple times, and they all have nothing but good things to say about this event, the people who run it.
Good guys.
Yeah, since 2020, I think a lot of people have taken notice of this event, and I think we're going to see more continued success here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here this afternoon. And always good to hear some good things, some good memories about how this event has grown to where it has. And glad to have you on hand here today.
Well, and I just want to take a second just to thank you guys for what you're doing. We really appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim, for joining us here on the Countdown to Pull Time show. That's Tim Blankenspore, the guy that the social media guru here in Rock Valley, also a historian here with local Iowa pulling. And yeah, always good to hear those stories.
Gotta appreciate those pulling historians.
Well, you gotta. There ain't too many of us that take an interest in this, so you gotta kind of stick together, and over the years. But yeah, always great to have folks like that, working, behind the scenes that you don't get to normally see.
I was just telling someone last night of how you and I actually met. First time we met, I had the whole Pulling Power magazine, every edition, from the collector's edition to the last, except for two. And I was looking for them, and all of a sudden I happened upon eBay, and I said, this guy's got, you had like 5 of them on there, you had 2 of the ones I needed, and I reached out to you, and it ended up being Dan Mayer had those issues. So thank you for helping me complete my Pulling Power collection.
No problem. If you need anything else, my wife will be more than happy to help you with anything else that you need. I'm sure there's plenty other goodies that you'll find there. But Kurt Pollson, come on in here. And we got our next guest here, light superstock ag competitor, as we'll have a couple of our drivers running in the show last night and will be running here tonight. We'll bring Kurt in here.
Well, that's a good-looking shirt you got on there, Kurt.
My wife went and rounded me up on, Ron.
She dressed you up a little bit, so come on here.
He had all the checks on the checklist for the tractor done, but he forgot to bring any T-shirts.
Extra T-shirt.
Yeah,
okay.
I got to bring my shirts.
Not a bad problem.
Push rods check, spark plugs check, T-shirts.
Yep.
Oops.
No shirts.
Well, Kurt, take a look at the big screen here. We'll take a look at your run from last night's show here. Talk us through that run.
Oh, it just we kind of been working with tire tread and stuff like that, taking them down. That tractor used to get really, really wild. It's kind of has a notorious history for like almost laying on its side when Rod ran it. And I don't know, we just been messing with that stuff and drawbar height and stuff like that, and I think we're getting pretty close now.
So you were working back in the pits when I saw you earlier, and you were going to check the push rods. Everything all right there?
All good. It's all alive. Yeah, we've been having push rod trouble. This is the first 2 runs we ran it, and it didn't ruin the push rods.
Okay, good deal.
So let's talk a little bit about your history in the sport. How'd you get involved with it, and where you are today?
Bought my first tractor from Larry Heller in Dunlap, Iowa in 1998, and that was the year I graduated high school. It was a 1650 Oliver with 270 white hoods on it, diesel, single turbo, pulled with the Outlaws with it, and then got rid of that and kind of went rodeoing for a while, and then came back and I bought Larry Lundry's old Little Britches tractor. That one actually made some viral videos.
I was going to say, I posted a video of that from Toma a couple weeks ago, yeah.
And then I sold that tractor to Jim Scheffler. That's what that is under.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's Jim Scheffler's tractor now.
Hopefully they tied it together a little better than he had at the time, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It's better. Then Jeremy Tesmer actually had a 4010 with 7810 tin work on it, and it had all the Rod Pasota's old twin turbo stuff. So then I bought that tractor and sold that, and that went to John Hoffman, and then Boho Boys ended up with it, the Green Lightning. And then I always wanted another one, and I always stayed in contact with Rod, and I called him and I said, you know, there's any tractors for sale? And he goes, you just come and get mine. And I didn't think he was serious, so I let him sit a couple weeks, and he called me back. He goes, you coming to get it or not? And I was like, we'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, Rod Pasota, the former owner of that tractor, and of course, he wasn't making all the events there towards the end. The last couple hooks he had, I think I saw at Wisner before you bought it, laid down a couple pretty good passes. He finally got the thing figured out, and now you guys are pushing a little harder now, are you not?
Yeah, I don't know if we're pushing any harder. We actually really didn't change anything. We just took everything he had and made it new again. Like, we just overhauled it and cleaned up had the head done and just did all that.
Well, you were able to get past Corey Schluter last night, and that's saying something in that class.
Yeah, he might have had a little trouble too going on there, but I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about that light superstock ag class. And where I'm from, don't really get to see those anymore, but very popular class out here with the Outlaws.
Yeah, I love it. I think they're neat. There's so many different things you can do in that class. Like Jeremy Paulson's 1 big O cubes and 1 big O turbo, and like we're 504 and 3 big turbos and diesel, alcohol, whatever. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, I love to have the mix of the diesel and the alcohol in the same class, the duel of the fuels, if you will, with the light super ags.
Yeah, no, very popular class, and like you say, the numbers are always right up there, and it's always interesting to see a lot of the competitors that have run here with the Outlaws over the years and still running in that class.
Yeah. No, we love it. I mean, every tractor we ever had was light super, so I don't know, it just kind of stayed with that.
Yeah, we had Melvin Nelson out in Concord Wednesday night. I think they had some mechanical issues, probably why they're not here tonight. But yeah, a lot of pullers from way back when still pulling in that class.
Yep, for sure.
So what do we got for tonight here? We got the Rock on the line here. You got I know there's a full field of them waiting to take that spot from you here tonight. But what are we looking? And we make some big changes, or we're just going to fine tweaks?
Yep, fine tweaks. We just checked her all out, made sure everything was good, and we're just going to try to duplicate what we did last night.
Have you ever won a Rock Award at Rock Valley?
I've never won an outlaw pull. I've been second and third. That's the first one I've ever actually won.
What would that mean to you to win the Rock at Rock Valley this year?
Could you imagine? I don't know. It'd be
Those
awesome.
front and center on the mantle? You get one of those?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Now, Kurt, also rumor has it you're a promoter as well.
I'm an auctioneer.
Okay.
That's what I do. Yep. And you mean promote tractor pulling?
Mobile, is that your event?
Oh, yep. I'm on the Woodbury County Fair Board at Mobile, and we do that. Yep, outlaw tractor pull there too. Yep, we help with that quite a bit.
Now, is that just kind of a local pull, or what?
It's a outlaw national. It's a real good pull. It's real good.
It's a good one.
What are the dates? Let's do some promoting for it. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Did I put him
Get
on
on
the
the
spot?
You know, I should have had the app pulled up
August
already.
something they tell us.
Yep, it is August.
August 2nd,
You know what?
maybe?
I do. It is August 2nd.
Okay.
It is.
Yep,
All right.
August
It
2nd.
is.
Yep, locked me up.
I hear some chatter in my ear about August 2nd.
okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so.
I had chatter.
You
That
can-
was just
you
my
can-
brain
You
trying
can
to work.
push that a little bit here, you know. and
You bet.
What classes you run in or anything?
I know we're having light super ag.
Okay, there you go. It
And
is
Modified
class,
full
right?
ride
Limited
is one.
Pro.
Light limited pro. Yep.
Yep, we're having that on them. I'm not for sure what all else is there, but it's a really good spot. That nice place too. Like it gets a crowd and it's fun.
Good deal. Well, Kurt, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
You've got run for that rock here tonight, so we'll let you get back to the
Yep.
pit area and get ready to go and get everything, make that run for the rock.
Go get her over the scale. We'll see what we can do.
Yep, good
Thank
luck,
you,
buddy.
guys. Yep,
All
thanks.
right, so Kurt Pollson with the light super stock class joining us here this afternoon, and we'll bring in Cody Barren next. And Cody, come on in. As our next guest here, as we roll on through our class, is what a night for the turbines, right, Ron? We talked about that
1 and
earlier.
2 last night.
Yep,
1 and
the
2.
turbine guys really flexing their muscle, and here we go. One of the best. That Turbinator back on the circuit. Cody, tell us about that run. We'll put it up on the big screen here, and you can kind of talk us through that run.
Yeah, well, being late in the class, we were obviously taking a look at the track, and, I had all intentions to stay down the middle to up the hill to my left in the seat, and a couple of guys that run before me, it didn't really work, and I thought, you know what, our only shot, we take chances. Our only shot is maybe shoot it down in that corner where Kaysen did earlier, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Last night it worked. Sometimes you look silly taking chances, and last night it paid off. So, no, it ran good. We're still trying to get some more data. Obviously, that's the only second pass on our tires and our gear. We did some changing this winter to try and catch up with these guys, and so far we're really happy with the tires, and the gear setup seems to be working pretty well. Now, that's just 2 passes. That's a small sample size. We're still trying to add on to the data. But you know what? We hit the weight just right, hit the tires just right. I couldn't have been happier. It was a smooth pass.
So now one question I have for you is, everybody talks about this being a power track, but normally we see with the turbines, it's more of a, get up on top of the dirt, get that wheel speed going. I mean, how does that work, when you got a power track, when you think, oh, this thing would just dig right in and away it go?
Yeah, a lot of about being anybody that's been around a turbine, I've been around it my whole life, being around Dad, and it's a different power plant, obviously, but it's a different form of horsepower. There's essentially not zero torque, but the torque is minimal compared to a reciprocating engine. So the way that we have to do it, we've figured out through years of pulling, is we have to spin our tires harder earlier because we don't have the torque to hold that wheel speed down the track. So everybody says, the first thing is, man, them tires were humming, man, they were spinning. Well, within the first 150 to 200 feet, they are spinning harder than, I would say, a Hemi or a reciprocating engine. But we know by our data logging system that they slow down in a hurry. So we've got to beat them in the first 200 feet. We got to gain more speed than they do. And, we just flat run out of torque down the track. And that's what it is. It's wheel speed for us early, and we essentially have to run a taller gear than we want, but we got to get our tire speed up in that first 150, 200 feet to have a chance to get to them at the end.
So just an excellent hole shot and just continue on with that then.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yep,
Okay.
That's right.
So, yeah, I can remember back in the days of Art Arfons when I was little. And, of course, tires at that time, you just had the big lug tires. You had the big Firestones. And him and Robert Soyson, and they would come down the track, and the engines were so quiet, the turbines, that you could literally feel and hear those lugs churning at the track. And you don't hear that anymore with the tire technology we have now, but it was pretty cool to just remembering that from those days. But what with the T55s that you're running, any interesting stories with those motors, how you acquired those motors?
Well, back in the day, hearing stories from, my dad, Gary, and his partner back in the day, Galen DeFries, obviously Arfons was the pioneer back then, and they wanted to try something different. I think it was 1974, 75. They drove to the heart of Chicago and got a hold of a guy that had some turbines, and I'm telling you, this is a story for another time.
I think I've heard this one, but
maybe
I wanna hear
another
it again.
beverage. But they drove down to the heart of Chicago, and this guy had 2 engines for sale. He had a T53, which we see in the light the light mod class, and he had a T55 sitting there. back then in 1975, 76, whatever, they didn't have the cash to buy that 55. And to this day, they said that's the worst mistake they ever made. You know, they brought the T-53 home, and it did okay. But, you know, the T-55 is essentially the big brother to 53. It's like a 350 Chevy to a 454.
Okay.
It's pretty much an identical motor. They just put it in a different power plant in the military with more horsepower. And, you know, we ran Bush for a lot of years with the T-53 and graduated up to the Outlaws. We actually ran a T-64 for years, got rid of that, and went to this 55. And it's such a simple motor. It's very efficient and, you know, essentially maintenance-free. You know, we catch a lot of rap from the piston guys. You know it about, you know, charging batteries. And by God, I did my duty today. I got my batteries charged. I'm ready to go.
I was going to ask if you had all your valves adjusted and everything all good, clearances all good.
I was going to say, what is it? Most of the maintenance everybody says is what, you run a water hose through it, basically? Is that how you...
Yeah, and if, you know, the track crews do such a good job anymore. The dust is minimal. You know, back in the day, there was a lot of dust, and what we'd do is we'd unhook the igniter and the fuel, and we'd spin them up with a garden hose and a jar of Dawn soap and spray it in the intake, and when the bubbles quit, she was clean.
It was good.
Good to go. Wow.
Yeah, that is cool. And it's just great, you know, this Outlaw mod class, just all the different combinations you see. That is one of the coolest things. My first time out here at Rock Valley and seeing this full mod class run, and it's really impressive.
Well, and that's what we pride ourselves on here as Outlaws. We have for years, and I think we're one of the, in my opinion, one of the best to do it. You know, we allow a little bit of everything out there, and if we don't allow it now, the willingness of the board and the competitors to bring that in is truly special. You know, we've got the Hemis. Obviously, that's kind of the staple of what's going on with the two-engine class. You know, we've got the twin Allisons we saw here last night, which is awesome to see back out here. Obviously, the turbines, the Griffin. You know, Doug's not here, but that's another very unique engine. And I just think it's great to see. And it's for the people.
Yep.
You know, if you want to be a pioneer and try something, I guarantee you Outlaws would give you a shot at it.
Now, I'm old school like Ron, you know, with these turbines. We need to blow some fire here every now and then. What happened with that?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you need to go have a conversation with my old man that writes the checks, because it can be a little detrimental to an engine, but if you know what you're doing, you can get away with it. But I tell you what, you go have a conversation with Dad, because trust me, it's a crowd pleaser when you do see a little bit of flames coming out of that thing.
You know, I've seen them burn the banners inside and, you know, over the years and different things. But, yeah, no, it's just kind of wondered about that, you know, why some guys, you know, got away from blowing the fire. But I didn't know that they actually were detrimental. So learned something today.
The fans definitely love the fire show, but anytime that we see that at a pool, I always remind the fans, if you're in a helicopter and you see fire come out of the back, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Same applies to here, generally. But, yeah, that's the reason behind that, for sure.
Gotcha.
You mentioned the cooperation. I was going to talk about that before you even start talking about it with the Outlaw pullers. As far as running the T-55s, how the cooperation with the piston engine guys, I mean, can speak to that a little bit and how that went.
Yeah, you know, here years ago we ran the single, and you know, it's like everything else. Everything goes up, right? The pistons are finding more horsepower, and at the time, the engine we were running was tapped out. And, you know, we just had a conversation with the guys that, hey, you know, we love coming here. We love being here. We love bringing our kids here. I grew up at the tractor pulling track, and we're out of horsepower. So it was either, hey, find us a way to be competitive, or we're probably going to be. There's no hard feelings. It's just, you know, we're not going to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
And, you know, you talk to the competitors. They've done a great job. We talked to the board, and we kind of shot from the hip of this is what we think we need. I think we're in a pretty good spot. You know, it's you look at those 13 tractors last night, and if you put them in a hat and pull one out, and, you know, you pull out a winner and say, that's not a fluke, that guy can win.
Absolutely.
And, you know, that's what we want more than anything. Nobody wants to come out here and win every hook. That's no fun. Competitors don't want to come talk to you after the pull. I think it's great. I think we're in a pretty good spot. You know, we did some tuning. I shouldn't say tuning. We did some changing to the tractor. We went out and tried a new set of tires. We're going to try and figured, you know what, let's take a chance on these tires, and we switched gears. You know, it's working. Tonight might be a whole different story.
Yeah, Ron, you had how many mile an hour that tractor was running down through there?
It was 37, 36, 37, I think, last night.
Yeah, it was rolling pretty good, and Ron had mentioned that last night on the microphone there, just how fast it got going. But we've asked a lot of the pullers here this weekend about Rock Valley. What does Rock Valley mean to you?
Back home when people talk about, hey, what are the big ones? Rock Valley is certainly at the top of the list. I mean, we talk about Rock Valley, we talk about Wisner, we talk about Warrensburg, and I don't know how many. I'd hate to know how many times we've been here. They do such a good job. We just love coming here. You want it, they'll talk about it, and they'll get it to you. You just take a look around and with the amenities they got here and now the stuff they got downtown. I went to the kiddie pool this afternoon and watched my kids enter the kiddie pool. It's a riot.
Which you couldn't do on Saturday here before because
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what they've done here is incredible, and Rich and the guys and Kurt. It's just they figured out, hey, let's get a tarp for this thing, and that's done wonders for us here. And it's truly is a class act and well run up here.
Well said, Cody. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here this afternoon. Good luck here tonight. The Turbine fans will be cheering for you here tonight. They had some great runs last night. You guys 1 and 2 last night. We'll see if you carry it on here tonight.
I appreciate it. And I just want to shout out to Rock Valley and everybody puts on the show and everybody that gets us to the track. I know my brother's not here. He's finishing up softball with his daughter. I know he's been texting and he's a big part of it. If he's not, if he doesn't help, this tractor's not here. So I appreciate you guys and everything you do.
How far are you guys actually from Rock Valley?
We're about 3.5 hours south of Lincoln, Nebraska. No. Nice little Friday morning drive.
Just a little jaunt over. Well, thanks again, Cody. Good luck here tonight with the modified class here tonight. Great runner for longtime runner here with the Outlaws. We'll bring in another guy that has run those turbine engines as well, as we'll bring in Kyle Pesh here and. Got a lot to talk about with Kyle here. Yeah. He's been a busy guy here lately.
Just a little bit.
A little busy. But
got a lot on his plate here. But the Piston guys are going to get a little jealous here, Dan. I think we're favoring these Turbine guys.
Yeah, we got to watch it because they're back there licking their chops or changing tires. We are.
I got my hands dirty today. Believe it or not, there's a little dirt, a little under the fingernails right there. We had to do a little work today. We got beat by a Turbine. We had to go after it.
Oh, there you go. So, Kyle, let's talk about your new position with the Outlaws.
Yes.
And it's been I'm sure, a whirlwind, but tell us all about it.
Whirlwind is correct, but in a very good way. My life had always been busy, but now a week feels like a day. But it's all good because I'm truly doing something here that I love, and being able to come back, work with Ron, work with Kurt, work with the entire team that we've got, to provide these great events for our pullers, help support our promoters, our sponsors. As you look around, I think we have a great group from top to bottom, everything that comes around, and to help kind of guide this, it's not just one person or two people that do this, it's an entire team that brings this all together. So just kind of getting in the groove. I've been in tractor pulling for a long time, but this is a new role, and one I'm thrilled with.
Now, what's interesting to me, being kind of an outsider looking in on things and just being around the Outlaws just a little bit here, but just like as you said, how everything works here and flows, through the group of folks that, it's not just one person pulling the strings. This is really, like you say, spread out through, and that's pretty impressive.
It is. It takes an entire team, from the guys standing at the scales all night, making sure everything's good there, to the track officials getting them pushed to the track, everybody that laid the track out, that built the track, that promoted the event, that sponsored it, and even the pullers themselves. I don't know if they realize how big of a part of how we run our shows. We call them to the line. They're there. They're ready to go. Top to bottom, it takes everybody to do what we do.
And that is the impressive part. They talked last night about, we talked earlier in our show about it, 1.9 minutes before, between vehicles, and they hope to have it down to 1.5 minutes here tonight. I don't know how you're going to do that, but they say you're going to do it.
We always got to try setting a little bit of a bar there, but you get in a rhythm and things start to work with that. And yes, we try to get stuff moving through there, and that's part of what we do. We have a lot of great equipment. We want those fans to see everything go down the track, not get burned out, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, I think the priority, and I think Kyle and I agree on this, is the fans and keeping them entertained. And we don't strive to have a marathon show, so we try to get them down the track and keep people entertained and get it done so they can see everything before they leave here. If we go to 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're not going to get to see everything that they paid for. So, and that's kind of a goal of ours. And I know you have your hands full, Kyle. With we'll talk about the app a little bit. trying to get all the computers and the app and everything to communicate with each other is a tall order, and you've taken that on.
There is. You know, kind of my first foray into part of the team here with Outlaw, besides being a competitor, last year I come on to kind of help from a technical aspect. But our app is, I believe, the best thing in tractor pulling right now, right along with the live streaming stuff that we're doing right here. But that app, we've had that, and it's very simple. It's very straightforward to a competitor to use, to a fan to use.
To an announcer.
To an announcer to use with that. But behind the scenes, there's still things that need to happen to make sure that the entry flows into that flows into the distance. The GPS that we're using on the sleds now, that we get that up there. We've got instant, you know.
The real time, the real-time updates and results as the pull is happening.
Yeah, and so point standings. I mean, amazing.
We're really right there that the moment that sled stops, within 2 seconds, you guys are looking at a distance up there, and I've got the capability to just push it on, and we could feed it onto the screen and do all that, but we'd like to kind of do a little check-in and make sure everything's right before we just commit to that. But that's where we're at right now, and that's, to me, another exciting part of everything that we're doing here, trying to kind of lead some of that.
Yeah, and talking to other pullers from other organizations, too. I mean, that's one of the things they always bring up. That app, man, that's cool. You guys did a good job pulling that app in.
Keeping it simple, straightforward. You know, we don't use lineup sheets anymore. It's all on the app.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that I noticed, you know, working with the ladies upstairs, and, you know, how everything flows up there, you know, I mean, right from the distance, you know, instantly, and everything's sorted, and it's just amazing, you know, like you can literally have your top 5 or whatever you want right away, and that just makes everything flow that much better.
Go ahead.
And it does. You know, once in a while you have some late-minute driver changes, things like that. We can instantly make those changes, and the fans out there will have some good, accurate information out there.
I think one thing that you coming on with the Outlaws now, and that keeps you very busy, which leaves you very little time for driving, but it's kind of perfect timing because your son Kaysen has taken over the reins as the full-time driver. I mean, he may let you drive every now and then, but, I mean, how proud are you as a dad of what he's doing out there on the pulling track?
I can't be more proud of that kid. To see what he did last night, I've driven something for about 30 years. This year, I'm going to have to climb in there at least once to keep that streak going. But he has, from day one, we had that single turbine. Cody talked a little bit about it, a little down on horsepower. But everything we told him to do, he did it. Dad and I kind of looked at each other. My mom's a big part of this as well, and she's kind of, well, what do we need to do to make sure that this thing's competitive? Well, we're out here running a twin turbine. I've got a daughter that also, you know, she's not in the seat, but she's right there helping run it. So I'm a very proud dad for what we've got going on.
And I seen him progress, too, and he did. He kind of had a knack for it right off the bat. And, yeah, he's checking all the boxes. He's doing a great job, and could have been happier for the win he got a few weeks ago over in Illinois. And then last night he almost got him another one, and being at the top of the points ladder right now.
Yes, that win over in Illinois, to me, was top of the moon, because that was his very first win ever, to be in a class with Bollingers, with Bargies, with
Donald Nelson,
Wayne Longnecker. As
Cody
said, pull a name out of the hat. Any one of those tractors there, we've had great competition all year. But to go out and do that against them for your very first win, that's a first win that you're going to remember forever.
Yeah. He'll remember that one.
And that was his driving, too. You know, it takes everything, but he's done a great job.
Now, Kyle, real quick, you know, taking on this job, what is one of the things that kind of, like, you know, being around the sport for so many years, but what was one of those things that, like, kind of caught you off guard here, taking this job, and it's like, oh, wow, I
probably having to talk to me, like, every day, I think. Probably.
Well, you know, I get a little hazard pay for that part, but, you know, I had a good idea of what was involved. I would say the amount of time on some specific tasks, kind of just behind-the-scenes things, just the constant the one thing that stuck out here in the last couple days is we have polls like Rock Valley that we go to. I reach out to our promoters a couple weeks in advance, make sure, hey, you got this lined up, you got scraper tractors, you got chalk for the track, just a whole bullet point list things. So you come to Rock Valley, they're good. You don't need it. But then we start going to a new event. Well, maybe they've had a tractor pull in the past, but you're not sure at what level, how their track crew was. So trying to kind of learn how to manage that part is something, I would say, one of those things that I didn't think about until I got into it. There's a lot of moving parts to this that I knew was there. It's just the amount of time in those moving parts.
Gotcha.
A lot of I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed, and that's something you got to do. Call them a couple weeks ahead of time, and it's, I didn't think of that, or I didn't see that in the contract that we needed that many tractors, or So I agree with you there.
Yeah, John, Ron's been there. The scheduling side of things, I knew that's been busy. He's done a great job at that as well.
So Kyle, we've asked everybody, what does Rock Valley mean to you? We've asked a bunch of competitors here this weekend, coming into Rock Valley here this weekend. Now, you're on a different side. You're not behind the wheel here this weekend, but still involved with Rock Valley. What does it mean to you over these years?
So being involved on the management side here a little bit and sanctioning side, to me, Rock Valley is a family reunion of our outlaw family. We talk about the outlaw family a lot because we truly are, from top to bottom, like I said. But here we have almost all but I think 2, maybe 3 of our classes, and 2 of those are brand new classes that we haven't even, our mini rods, we haven't even had a chance yet. We're going to see them here in a week or 2. But just kind of that family reunion atmosphere. You walk out in that pit area, you're seeing competitors from classes that you normally don't work or pull with. And to me, that's kind of what Rock Valley is. It's a family reunion.
Well said. Well said. Like you say, a lot of marquee events are like that, and glad to see that happens here in Rock Valley. My first time here, and everything that I've heard and seen about it, it lives right up to that reputation. It's just an amazing event.
That's great to hear, and we love having new people come and experience our events. We think we've got a great thing here. We love to share it with people that have never experienced. So thank you for coming out. We enjoy having you here.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, Kyle, what do you foresee in the future here for the Outlaws? We asked earlier, promoter here for the event, but we're going to ask you that same question.
So for the future of Outlaws, we need to keep maintaining what we're doing. Our biggest problem right now is we're running out of dates.
And that's a good problem to have.
And that's a great problem to have. So being able to kind of refine some of that a little bit, get a really good tight schedule in there, and allow these competitors to have a series of events kind of together that works for them. We're always looking for more sponsorships, and I like to call them partners with us because it's not just a sponsorship. You walk around to any of our partners out there, they are the ones that help bring us together. So I think we can go and form some more of those great partnerships to help kind of build what we've got going on here. That's what's exciting me about where we can take this. Of course, I can get on the technology side of things, but we won't go there.
And bringing more classes on board
Yes.
to have more variety and be able to spread out a little bit more and satisfy some of those dates that these promoters are wanting us to fill. And, we can only push our pullers so hard, and we're pushing them pretty hard already. So, bringing some of those new classes on. And Kyle and I, we're in agreement on what we're trying to get done here and trying to get some of these other classes exposed, bringing the semis back, bringing the mini rods back, the diesel superstock four-wheel drive, we're bringing them in now. So hopefully we'll keep moving in that direction. That's our goal, I think, is to expose some more classes and spread out a little bit more and give some more promoters some outlaw pulling action.
Well, Kyle, it's been great talking with you. We know you're a busy guy. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us here this afternoon.
Not a problem.
Thanks for talking with us, and we'll let you get back to work. We know you've probably got 800 things you got to do here before showtime.
We got 1 or 2 things we got to button up here.
There you go. All right, thanks again,
8,
Kyle.
12, something like that.
All right, so Kyle Pesh here with the Outlaws joining us this afternoon. We'll bring in Jason Schultz.
I was gonna keep Kyle on and say, if those turbines keep winning, Kyle, if the turbines keep winning, they're gonna make you go back to 1, Petch.
I was just thinking as we were talking to Cody Barren. So
stirring that pot.
What are the odds?
Stir the pot.
Have the odds changed on the Barron's tractor since?
We're going to do modifieds next. I want to start with 2-wheel drives because they've been.
Yes.
Donnie Sullivan is back there. All he does is warm his truck up this year.
He has driven 2,500 miles,
and he hasn't
hooked here in
only
3
thoroughly,
weeks.
right?
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Reset the valves, hundreds of times.
So Toma, they got They got the sled broke. They got rained out of the one session. The track was too bad, and then the sled broke Saturday night in the finals. And then where else have they been?
He was Thursday night. He was ready. It was the last hook in the class.
He was last hook in the class. Yep. So I want to talk about gambling. Full Pull Picks. Everybody, get your phones out if you want. Go to FullPullPicks.com or the Full Pull app.
You can follow along on the big screen here.
So we're going to talk about two-wheel drives first. So what those are odds down the side. You can see Gunsmoke is 1-1. That means Gunsmoke has the money on him right now. Cole Sidecheck out of Texas.
Now I'm going to throw in a little tidbit of information there.
Okay.
Cole will not be driving Gunsmoke tonight.
Ooh, who's driving tonight? Brant Sullivan?
Brant Sullivan will be driving the Gunsmoke. If that changes anyone's,
No, that could.
Yeah.
So fans, what you do is everybody's like, oh, it's hard to pick a winner. Well, that's what's great about Full Pull Picks. You pick two people, pullers, that you think will finish in the top three. So if you go second and third, or first and third, you're good. It's only a $5 minimum wager, Dan and Ron. It's so easy to do. Again, FullPullPicks.com or the Full Pull app. So as we scroll down through here, we see Gunsmoke is a 1-1 favorite. Got a lot of 8-1s. Thumper, Cole Sidecheck is 1.75 to 1. Donald Nelson and the Little Whip is 1-1 right now, basically. So he's the favorite right now. Tony Fleming, who was in the lead, Ron and Dan, when it got rained out on Thursday night? It was one of the Fleming trucks, right?
Well, yeah. Let me think here. Which one? Because Chaz is driving both of them.
Yeah, because Tony
just got married.
Yeah.
Yep.
Congratulations, Tony.
Yeah. Who gets married as a puller in the summer?
We're not going to talk.
He's on his honeymoon right now.
Yeah, but we got to talk about this.
We know the rules.
Yeah. I thought his dad raised him. Lance knows better than this. Lance knows better than this. So. But yeah, so who do you guys like here? So I got to take Donnie Sullivan. We interviewed him yesterday on Countdown to Pull Time. He's the very last pick on the bottom down there, and then I'm going to go. I want High Cotton.
Okay.
Who do you want?
No, I was just going to say I'd take one of the Fleming trucks. I thought one of the Fleming trucks was like 11-1 or something. There it is. High maintenance.
High maintenance. Yeah, grab that one, Kenzie.
Yeah. There we go.
The Voodoo.
Let's do a $5 pick. So she's going to put a 1 in there for the multiplier. And that win is, can you read that, Dan? Is it $33.75? I think. Ron, can you read that?
I've got old man eyes, too.
That's what it looks like, yep.
Yeah, $33.75.
So that $5 pick would win $33.75. How fun is that?
Yes.
You don't have to go to Gambling and Olives.
You can't even buy an energy drink for $5. So
no, energy drinks are expensive.
Yeah.
So, but that's what we're going to do there. So that's FullPullPicks.com. We're the two-wheelers. Let's do the modifieds. Ron was talking about that. A lot of the comments on the modified videos, Ron, were like the turbines, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Donald Nelson got it, but they're going to shake it up tonight.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because Bollinger's told Dan earlier today they're going to lean it out a little bit.
Oh, lean is power.
There was people changing tires.
Wayne Sullivan, he was back there.
Yeah,
They're making some changes.
Papa Wayne's ready.
He's been. I've seen him observing a lot this weekend. I've seen him observing.
Modified picks. Lane Bollinger 3-1. Say goodbye, Vern Huser 1.5 to 1. He's a favorite right now. Sweet Pain, Tyron Ulmer 3-1. Thermal Thunder, Kyle, it's case and pitch, 1.87 to 1. Donald Nelson, Twisted Whip, 18 to 1.
Ooh.
Top Gun, Steve Bollinger, 18 to 1. There's some money to be made here, folks. River Rat, Wayne Longnecker. I hope he enjoyed his ice cream this afternoon.
Yes.
18 to 1. The Bullbuster, Donald Nelson. I think he finished in third. Ron.
Yep.
Stud Mule, Ken Urban. And then the Turbinator is 7 to 1 right now. So your winner. But right now, looks like Cotton Candy. Looks like Cameron Neves. Neves is defending champ, Outlaw point. So,
okay.
Ron, you pick one. Dan, you pick one, and we'll wrap this baby up.
I like picking the dark horse.
Okay.
Let's try Ken Urban.
Ken Urban.
Oh, we talked to him too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, got running the Aries.
Yes, we got the hot setup on
the
that.
10-liter Aries. Yeah. So we're going to Stud Mule. Dan, who do you want, buddy?
We are going to go here tonight with, let's see here. I'm going to say let's go with the Kentuckian tonight.
The Kentuckian Wayne.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there.
So let's do a 1 multiplier on that. We're going to make a $5. And what's that number? Is that 30? Is that 13? It's hard to read on the big screen. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, from this angle, it is pretty hard to see.
Waiting for Dan might hear from the trailer what that number is.
It looks almost like
breaking news. Mike, in the modified class. Micah Hagen-Norden.
Austin
Fluid.
Of Valley Wheel Polishing.
Hey, Mike, come on over here.
Yeah, come on in, Mike.
Come on over here.
Here, take that, Mike. Yeah, you know what you're doing, Mike.
All right, folks.
Mike,
so we've got some breaking news in the modified class.
Mike, you got to do
Just got this from the big man upstairs. So big thank you to Micah.
Jesus.
The CEO himself
Jesus.
just updated me on this. Micah Hagedorn and Austin Floyd of Valley Wheel Polishing have donated $1,000 cash.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash.
Straight cash,
folding
homie.
dollar bills to the Rock winner in the modified class.
Oh, baby.
So, turn up the wick,
They're going to
ladies
turn
and
up.
gentlemen.
Wayne Sullivan, lean it out a little more, buddy. He can't hear me
$1,000
anyway.
courtesy
No.
of Valley Wheel Polishing. Going to go to the Rock, the overall
Very
weekend
cool.
winner in that 7,400 modified division. So,
And then Dan, Ron, and I are going to throw an extra $20 in combined.
Wait a minute.
hey, I've
Don't
got
split
20
too
bucks in
soon.
my
I
pocket.
gotta get my wallet out. Do they take Venmo?
I think I still owe the girl for my program from last night. Oh, no, I got that taken care of. Well, guys,
that's awesome.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the Countdown to Pull Time show. We got a bunch of folks coming in.
Look at
the
they're
gates are
lined
wide
up.
open. Yeah.
They're lined
we
up.
are-
Online tickets been working good. Hey, real quick, I know both of you are humble, but you guys sound amazing together. Your knowledge of the Outlaws and your voice, and Dan, I love you with my whole heart, and you guys just sound awesome together. A lot of comments on you. Just announcers make a show. If an announcer sucks, the poll sucks. I don't care.
Well,
That's how it works.
We've also got a
Mike
third.
Ido's okay.
Oh,
He's
come
okay.
on.
He did an awesome job.
He's
last night.
Mike's doing a great job
He's
with the
the
winter
next
interviews.
generation, really.
Mike is the
when you
next
start
generation.
looking, yes,
He is the second voice of the
Because we're going to
Outlaws.
get old one day, and, that's going to happen.
You are old, Dan.
Well,
We,
Boy.
my friend.
Yeah, we are. I'm 49. Dan's 50. Ron, how old are you?
54.
And
Whoa.
Mike? 35.
My goodness, still wet behind the
35
ears.
To be 35 again.
All right, that'll
With
wrap
credit
things
card
up
debt.
here, Rock Valley. If you can't be here, Full Pull Live here tonight. We're going to spin the first tire.
Yep,
6 o'clock,
FullPullPicks.com.
Probably 5:45 opening ceremony.
Let's
5:45
do this.
opening ceremonies. We'll be ready to rock at 6.
Dan and Ron, live from Rock Valley, Iowa.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 6.